Well, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Unlocked. I'm Tracy Wilson. Today is 100th episode and oh my God, I'm pretty excited. Right now, I've got my good friend Vickie Helm behind the scenes about to join me on the show, and we're going to be unlocking the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that I've learned over the last 100 episodes of Unlocked. So stay tuned and join me in just a moment. Go grab yourself a cup of coffee, a pen, a paper, or even a wine if you would so wish to, because you know it is a time for celebration. And join me on Unlocked, and I will uncover for you everything that I've learned after 100 episodes of being on the Unlocked show. So come back and join me in just a few moments. See you in a second. Well, hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Unlocked. And in fact, it's the 100th episode of Unlocked today. So I've asked my very good friend, Vickie Helm, to be on the show with me to celebrate. Because why? Because she was there right at the beginning, and she absolutely should be here at the 100th show, at the 200th show, and so on and so forth. So thank you so much for being here today, Vic. It has been what a ride we have had over the last year. Just before we joined the show, her and I were just having a little bit of a chat about, you know, it's been 100 episodes of the show. Her and I have been working together for something like 14 months, and we'll uncover some of the crazy and the awesome things that we've done in the middle of often a lockdown, in the middle of a pandemic, and some of the shifts that we've made in our businesses that have paid off big time in spades. And I want to share all of that with you guys so you know what you can do too. So welcome to the show, Vic.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to let you know I'm going to be taking over part of this show. It's not going to just be her asking me questions. We are going to turn around and sit down and ask you this, because a lot of people don't know the consistency it takes to get a show developed and everything else and have 100 shows. But the other thing is, I want to talk about our partnership first. We co-CEO a company, a pretty big one. We co-CEO something that is, thank you. Yao, congratulations. Thank you. I'm not sure who that is, but thank you for that. So that 100 shows, that CEO, that partnership, it has been 13 months. And let me just tell you what it's like behind the scenes with Tracy at 100 shows. What you see is what you get. She's zany, she's creative, she is really fast at what she does. Like if she gets an idea, boom, who is that Facebook user? That's so awesome. Thank you very much. It is really awesome. And what ends up happening? Who is that? Robin, tell us who that is. And welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. So what exactly does it take to get a show off the ground? Well, it takes a lot of creativity, and that's something that Tracy has in spades. So I'm going to be asking the questions today. We're going to go deep. We're going to have fun. That's right. But it's my plan, because I want you to know how awesome it is to work with you. And you are just, so awesome and fun to work with. But let me just ask you something. Let's just start from the beginning. I don't want to tell them what you know. I want to tell them about your heart. And I'm not seeing the mystery person. Must be on a different channel. Well, thank you for being here, mystery person. So let's just talk about this 100 shows later. Tell me why you wanted to start your show. What was your goal? What was the message you wanted to get, etc.? And I'm just going to hang out and listen.
Sure thing. Well, interesting that you should ask that question. And actually, the Unlocked show was an idea and a concept that I'd had in my head for a long, long time. And in fact, my original website called Tracy and Wilson was like, I had the branding and everything around this concept of Unlocked. And if I kind of rewind my whole business journey, maybe 7 years ago, I might not have that timing quite right, but 5 to 7 years ago anyway, there was a platform called Blab, and boy, oh boy,
I remember.
The owners of Blab right now are probably like kicking themselves, because they disbanded that product like within about a year of having it. They had it in Man of Mystery, is this Facebook user.
That's right.
well, welcome anyway, that man of mystery. Thank you for being here. So anyhow, the platform Blab was about, and it was similar to this. You were able to do live streaming, and I started a show back then, which was actually interviewing business owners. I wanted to really give business owners in my local area an opportunity to highlight themselves and also share their knowledge and expertise with others. So anyway, that was sort of 7 years ago, and that platform Blab, like I said, wound down. They did a beta test in a program, and then they decided that no, they were too, they had become too diversified and they needed to go back to their core business. So actually stopped Blab. And like I said, they're probably kicking themselves now, because now it is all the rage. They were about 5 to 7 years before their time. Anyhow, fast forward a number of years. So when that platform stopped, and this is a bit of a, I suppose, a cue for everybody to think that sometimes, we stop doing things because the platform that we used or the tool that we had, we allowed other people's decisions to impact the direction that you go in. So, and that impacted me at that time, because Blab stopped. So what happened? Tracy stopped. I didn't know, there wasn't a platform like that anymore. I didn't know where to go. So the whole concept of having a show kind of went on the back burner for a number of years, until COVID hit. The opportunity to restart a show. We all know that there is a huge amount of benefit in us being publishers. And I have to say that I don't particularly, even though I'm an author, I don't particularly enjoy writing. So blogging wasn't really a thing for me. I tried that in the past and I couldn't get consistency with it. So I knew for me, I had to find a way of being able to share my information, my message, being able to help the people that I wanted to help, but in a way that would be easy for me to be able to communicate. And given that I've always been in leadership and in management type roles, speaking has been sort of my weapon.
Go-to.
So to speak. It's been the go-to.
Mm-hmm.
So it made absolute sense for me to create some container, let's call it that would enable me to be able to share. I've got a dumbass blog. Yeah, I had one of them too, a dumbass blog, and it just didn't work for me. I was obviously too dumbass to keep that going. So anyway, I had to go to this method. So anyway, I went down the path of let's create the concept that I had, which was all about helping people to live their life unlocked. And what does that actually mean? That means to me that you're able to go and do the things that you want to do, that if you have a burning desire and a passion in your heart to do something, then you should follow that and do it. That you, at some point, you've got to let go of the shackles and the constraints that you put on yourself through other people, with other people's expectations and their limitations that they place on you. So kind of just getting away from all of that, being able to go and do the things that you want to do when you want to do them. So the whole concept of the show is around that. We all have, nobody's life is perfect. That's the truth. Nobody has a perfect life, regardless of what you might see on social media. You might see the perfect life. That is all, in my opinion, BS.
Yes.
Of what actually, that's not the reality of life. So being able to share the good, the bad, the ugly, the challenges, your parents being sick and having to come and live with you, and how you kind of navigate all of those things. So a bit of this show is not just about, hey, here's all the good stuff and here's how you do something, but here's also a little bit of a glimpse into my life, into the real what happens in life. You've all heard me on shows say before that I had to change my camera angle because my dad, hasn't been well. He's had a stroke a number of years ago, moved in with me. The camera angle that I had looked straight down my hallway at one point. And if I didn't change my camera angle, well, people, you would have all been seeing my dad stark as naked, having a shower with the nurse. But that's life. That's the reality. So anyway, that's why I started the show. Because it meant that I was able to get my message out. I knew that I had that message locked inside of me that I wanted to get out and share with other people. It created me a place that I could bring other experts such as yourself onto the show and provide a platform and an opportunity to showcase them. It also gave people an opportunity to ask questions. So I wanted it to be a place that was very almost like a communication platform rather than it being one way. This platform worked particularly well for me. I also knew that I had to find a way in my business to be able to do things in a very smart and timely manner that wasn't going to take me, all day, every day, posting on all sorts of different social media accounts.
Yes.
So I came up with a system and a process that enables me to do this show, but it also sorts out all of my social media for all of my other, YouTube and Instagram and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to be, for want of a better word, smart with my time, because my time, I've come to realize that there's one thing in life that you cannot buy, you cannot get back, and everybody has an amount of it, and it's time. And if I didn't use that wisely,
I want to stop you there, because I think what you just said is so important. It's really important. A lot of people think that when they get on these shows and they do 100 shows, that it is the most time consuming thing, and they have life. Life happens and everything that you have to take care of there. So important what you said about protecting your hours, protecting your time, protecting the things that you want to protect, and still being able to attend to those things that you love. And you created this system because you created the show essentially because you wanted to be able to show the people how it can be done, how you can live and do that. Now, what's interesting, you said this earlier, just a bit ago, you were talking about how the pandemic switched everything. And I was like, yes, for years, I did the stages, being on stage at live events. All live events stopped. And I have kind of this thing where I'm enjoying having this event, which is live, and being brought to you live and also at your convenience, because you can always watch the replay of the show as well. I want to go ask a different question now. I want to know and I want to give you a chance to think back in your memory of the 100 shows that you've had. What is one where you really had to pull it out at the last minute because everything went wrong? Because I know from having my shows that not everything goes right every single show. And you have to suddenly scramble a little bit to make things go right. Do you have an idea in your head where it was just like, oh man, this happened and we didn't think we were going to go live? Do you have just one story of that?
Gee whiz, Vic, like one, I have multiple. So I won't give like one specific example, but I'm going to say, everything that you can think of that could happen, has happened. However, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the power going out in my entire street. Middle of a show, and boom, one of my screens just goes out, my lights go off, and I was honestly like, what the heck? What is going on here? I'm still streaming. It was still working. And thank goodness it was because I had which is quite unusual. My husband would say pretty unusual for you to have everything charged up, but I had, the phone was charged, and, my computer was charged, and everything was fully charged with battery, so I could actually get through my show. That's one instance, but boy, I've had everything. You talk audio go out, visual go out. I've run shows from motels. I've run shows from campgrounds. I had, I've had the wind kind of like crazy in my headset. I've had, lights fall over. I mean, you name it, guests not show up. So everything you could possibly think of that could have potentially gone wrong. Yeah, I've had it. But what do? You have a contingency and you just get on with it and you figure out how to make the show go on. So like I said, show business, the show must go on. You just figure out a way.
Yeah, I love what you said about there, because it's after you've done enough lives, what ends up happening is you chill out a little bit. You're like, oh, something went wrong. Well, this is what it looks like. Here it is. I love the authenticity of the show. And I want to say, hey, Sean, nice to see you. Is that our man of mystery, Sean? Nice to see you, Mr. Olson.
That was a Kurt, I believe.
Kurt. Kurt Howard was on. Okay, great. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for being here on our 100th show episode. Okay, so I know that you have had boatloads of guests. 5 of your favorite guests, 5 of your favorite, because that's 100 guests, as like, there's 50 or so. Name a couple of the 5 favorite topics that you've gone over. I mean, I know for myself, and I'm going to throw this out. I really like the Alex Sharfin show. Really liked the Alex Sharfin. That was like a wicked great show. I'm not going to get his name. Please get his name right. Dave. He did a show that was about video production.
Oh yeah, Dave
Rotherham. Yeah.
Amazing.
God, that was a great show.
Yep. So guys, the top 5, definitely Alex Sharfin. So if you did not watch that show, then I would absolutely go and find that. Go over to YouTube is the easiest way to find that. Go to Metadime on YouTube, and maybe Robin might even put the link in the comments for me. Just put our Metadime link in there to YouTube, please, Robin, to the playlist of Unlocked. So I would definitely go and check out episode with Alex Sharfin. Definitely go and check out the episode with Dave Rotherham. Let me just give
I know who I'm number 3, in there.
Vickie, I'm just going to say you're number 1. I mean, that goes without saying. So
thank you. I wasn't talking about me. I know what number 3 show is good for me. Liz Benny was, and I'm not sure. Liz Benny was on she was on Take a Stand. Yeah. But still, what an awesome interview that was. That was so good.
So guys, if you don't know this, I actually have a number of shows that I run now. So I started out with Unlocked, and just a little word of warning, when you get sort of started with all of this, you'll probably find that you'll want to do multiple shows. Why? Because you have multiple ideas and concepts. One thing that I would say about this, Vic, and I'll get to who my top are in just a second, but is that if you're doing this for business purposes, so there's two ways that you can do this. One is just because you wanna, right? You just want to do it and you just want to share your information. The other is if you have a business. So if you have a business and you have skills, knowledge, expertise, a product or a service, and you want to share that with the world, this is a fantastic way of being able to do that. And what I would recommend that you do is that you link your show with your product and or your service. That's a really, really important piece, particularly if you want to monetize it. We talk a lot about that inside of a program that both Vickie and I teach called Influence and Authority Method. Super, super important that you do that. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I also want to mention, as far as like you asking me what episodes, there was a whole series that I did called the Authentic Brand Effect. And I would recommend to people that they go and watch the Authentic Brand Effect, go and find that also on YouTube.
Yes.
Robin Helm might even grab the link.
She put it, the links are in there. She's popping them in.
Oh, thank you, Robin. So if you wouldn't mind even finding the link to the Authentic Brand Effect, because there were a series of 5 shows that I did, and also Vickie was involved in that series as well, where we teach you the 5 things that you need to do to help you to increase your influence and your authority. And I would recommend that people go and watch that. So definitely do that.
And what I really like about what's being said right now is that in these top 5 shows, let me tell you something. There are people who pay, deep into the 5 figures to get the information that we give them for free on these shows right now. That's what's really, it's 100 shows of an absolute education that you can have. When her guests come on, they're the top of the field and the experts. They come in, they share exactly what you need to know in order to create all kinds of achievements and success in your life. And this is the importance of it. It's like you have nothing to lose. It's just fantastic, easy access. And then you can access it again. So Robin's going to be putting these up to it. And I think we're at number 3. I know what number 3 is for me.
Okay. So the next one that I think was like awesome, I'm going to say Mark Stern. So I did a show.
Yes, that was a great show.
Yep. Mark Stern is an expert when it comes to like taking your your online experience, if you've got a program that you're running, taking that experience and actually boxing it up and actually sending people custom boxes.
He's so brilliant with that.
So
MJ's on.
I think that is a fantastic show to go back and to watch and listen. And the other one that I'm going to say, there's a little bit outside of the box, and I'll tell you a little bit of story about this one, but our show production manager, who I want to give a shout out to today, because she has been, we could not have done this. I couldn't have started this all without Karen Sachs Epley. So I just want to make and I want to cry when I think about her. She's not on our team anymore, but she has been absolutely amazing in like lining up the guests, making sure they've got everything they need to be on the show. So I want to make sure that she is acknowledged today. But when Karen actually said to me, hey, I've got a guest for you to go on Unlocked, and she sent me through the bio, and it was kind of, sent me through the bio, and I had a look at it, and I'm like, oh, how is this going to work on the show? It was all about how children deal with grief. I was like,
oh, yes.
And that was the honest truth. I was thinking that, like, how am I going to, like, manage to put this into, because Unlock is an upbeat show. We talk about lots of positive things. This was that grief is not always, it's not a, most people don't think that's not a positive thing. Why the heck would I want to talk about that? But that show with Leslie Delp,
that was outstanding.
Gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. I would absolutely go and watch that show with Leslie Delp. There are so many amazing things in that show that are worthy of people watching and listening to again. So definitely go and check that one out.
Yes. And we had this show during that time where a lot of people were losing parents and grandparents to the pandemic. And these kids didn't have a way to get through their grief. They weren't in school. There was so much that they just didn't get done. That was a timely, perfect show. Thank you. That was a good remember.
Yep. And the other one that I'm just having a look at now is Steve Warner. That was actually a really good show too. So if you're anybody who is doing webinars, like this is one way of being able to get your message and your information out there. But if you also want to create webinars, like in that show, Steve went through the entire process, like what to do, how to do it, what timings, etc., etc. So I would definitely say that. And then how many have I done so far? I've got so many, but I want to add one to that mix.
Then add your one more, because I also there's a couple of people I have in mind too that these shows are going. Yeah, keep going.
So the other one that I'm going to say is worthwhile going to listen to if you want to have a little bit of a laugh. At the beginning is with Terry Britt. She kind of made me go outside of my comfort zone, I'm going to say, because if you had asked me if somebody had asked me a few years ago, would you do a show and would you do it like on the regular, like twice a week, every single week, without doubt, I would have been like, oh God, can I commit to that? But secondly, if someone had then gone, well, and when you do a show, can you open it by singing? I would have said, out of your freaking mind, that ain't going to happen. Because, I will sing along with my kids at home or with my grandchildren, but I certainly don't have a voice for the general public to hear. But anyhow, that show, I went and looked at her website and I thought, I want to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to push the boundaries, get outside of my comfort zone, and opened that show with a little ditty. So that's a bit of a memorable one for me.
Yeah, that's a really, really good one. I think what's interesting about, as you've been going through the topics that we've learned, from how to get your message out, how to do a webinar, how to deal with grief in your family. And, Liz Benny, even though it was there, she was like, how to be authentic, how to go for it, how to set your mindset, how do you take yourself to the next level, how to create your next level, how to be in there. There's been so many guests on the show that it's like hard to remember 100, right? It's so hard to remember 100, but I'm so thankful for the energy that you put into this show. And I want to talk about the other 100 things that you do besides that, which is every time you teach a topic, you gave worksheets out for free. You gave checklists out for free. You did video trainings for free. You followed up with that. Why would you do that on a show? Why are you doing what other people aren't doing on their show? Why is it that, I know you have a big heart, and I'm going into the big heart space, but I also know you have a level of excellence. Tell us about some of the values you hold for your show. Like, what are my values when I do a broadcast?
Well, let me put it this way. I've been in this space for a fair amount of time now, coming up almost a decade. And I've spent my fair share of money and a lot of money on coaching programs and what have you.
Yeah.
And everything that I create these days, and I've always been this way. I've always been, whatever I've got, I want to share it with people anyway. That's just, I think, my nature. If you come to my home, you're going to get fed really well. It's just the way we roll. However, so when I create this show or any program that I create, I always want people to go away with being able to implement and actually take action and do something with whatever it is that I'm sharing with them. Because I know that I've spent hours and hours and hours in programs and paid a lot of money to be places and not necessarily ever had actionable things that you could take away and do. So I wanted to make sure that doesn't matter whether it's free or it's paid, that I give people actionable things that are realistic, that they can action straight away, that it's not going to cost them an arm and a leg, going to take them a whole lot of time to be able to do, but inch them forward in their business, with their family, or with their life. And sometimes that requires it requires some sort of supporting material to go with it, whether that be a supporting video or a checklist or a worksheet or whatever. I mean, if that is required, then I will create it and make sure that that's what they get. Because if you don't provide that, then your viewers or your customers go away with only half the recipe. And that just has always frustrated the heck out of me. I very much like to give people, like, here's the next step, go away and do that. Why? Mm-hmm. Because then they come back to me next week and say, hey, Trace, I've done that. I've mastered that. What's the next thing? Now I can move on.
Yeah.
See them it's all about progress. How can I help them get the progress and the outcome that they need as fast as I possibly can? So Beautiful. Whatever it takes is what has to be created to give the customer the opportunity to be able to do what they need to do, get unstuck, solve their problem, get them, out of a bind, a challenge, whatever it is, as fast as possible.
Yeah, those are the things that most people don't do. They don't go that extra mile, and that's what's really made your show outstanding. One of my favorite shows ever. We were getting ready to release this book right here, our first book together, which is The She Myth, and you had a guest on that. I thank you. That's it. There's the book, The She Myth. The audio is going to be coming out shortly, but right now, this particular book right here. You had a guest on, and they were talking about their book, and that was Wendy Schenkel, her show, when they talked about the purse strings effect. Uh-huh. And we asked her to endorse the book. We were like, here, read it, endorse it for us, etc. We sent her the manuscript. She read it, and God, she came on the show, on your show, and the last thing she said is, I want to talk about your book. And wow, that really pulled my heartstrings. Such a great show. The guests that come on, they share with you, and you have such great relationships with them. And having that kind of friendship where you can call somebody and just say, will you come on my show, be on my show at this time, etc. Those kinds of things in the world, they make for great shows. And here's what I want to know. I want to give a little bit of statistics right here. Live shows are the future. Live shows are the now. People love reality TV, but they actually want reality. So the biggest shows around right now are education shows and talent shows. Like if you're on American Idol or The Voice or whatever talent show you're on, you can dance, etc. The other second thing that's really big right now are education shows, education talk shows. And then the third thing is just the casual conversation, like The View or the Coffee Break Show is, and that live. Did you have the thought when you started this live thing, did you see the future of it, or did you say this is the way to go, this is how it's going to be? And what is, give me kind of a future, like this is what I see for the future, this is how I see it rolling out. Why is it important for people to understand the power of the live show?
Well, look, I think times have definitely changed. I mean, I mentioned earlier in the show that I started something like this like 6 or 7 years ago, and mentioned that platform Blab was well ahead of its time. I mean, I think where the pandemic and, you know, what's gone on with COVID-19 has really changed the way in which businesses have to think and have had to adapt to the new world, because things have changed significantly. We think about, you know, pre-COVID-19, everybody was about, let's do a, you know, get on a stage. You know, you were at trade shows. You were, you know, you were showcasing your product in the flesh, so to speak. You were standing on stages, speaking to live audiences. I mean, the pandemic has really just chopped the legs right out from under those people who their entire business was, you know, was built around that. We know that that model works. So what has everybody had to do? Well, you then have an opportunity to turn to, you know, the tool, use the tools and the resources that we have available to us, which is the internet and platforms like we're using right now, to be able to get your message out to people. So people are at the moment are still frightened of traveling, and in some cases you just can't. And if you're like me, who lives in Australia, I would dearly love to be able to travel around the world, and as much as I could get out, the likelihood of, or the likelihood of me not being able to get back into the country with a lot of the stuff that's going on is very, very high. So it's not always safe or you know, it's not safe for us to travel right now. So what do you have to do? You've got to use platforms like this. What do I think in the future? People are wanting this more intimate type of conversation and right? So you talked about there being, you know, education and entertainment. It's almost it's a melding of the two, where we now have edutainment, right? Yeah, edutainment. And someone's saying here, there's just too many unknowns. But what we do know is we're to work with what we do know. We know this is a safe place. This is a safe way for me to be able to communicate with you guys. Comfort of my own home. I don't have to go anywhere. It's relatively, you know, cheap for me to be able to do this, and I can do it. I can flick of a button, and I'm live talking to as many people that want to listen. So I think the times have changed, and to enable you to stay present, to stay relevant. People don't now want all the let's say, like we've talked a lot about this too, with like branding, and do you need to make everything fancy? My answer to that is no. People don't really care about how fancy your stuff is. They don't want to be.
They want authentic, not fancy.
They want authenticity. They want to know what you're talking about. Is that true? Like, are you real? Are you shitting me, or are you telling me the truth? Are you actually going to be able to help me? Can you get me a result? I don't care whether you show up with fancy high heels on or you've got bare feet. Just a little tip there. I got bare feet today because I can, because I'm at home in the comfort of my own home, and you don't see my feet, right? So, and that's the reality. You don't care what shoes I'm wearing. What you care about is, can I help you? And if I can help you, then you will listen. So, you know, I think
so
this
important
whole edutainment piece, it has shifted the way that we do things. If you can educate people and entertain them at the same time, and you can be very authentic about it, you've got that recipe of 3 will do you well.
That's so important what you just said. I mean, that's really it. It's not about the Facebook ads. You want client to find you, well, then you do the live show. Let them meet you in the live. It's really easy to go to YouTube and polish everything up and make it all look good. And here's your perfection. On live TV, you get authenticity. And live TV, when it blows up, you get to see how they respond or react or what they do. In live TV, that moment is always captured in that way. And I think that's what is like this. I don't show up in high heels, maybe camo hunting boots, but not high heels.
Yeah.
That's got to be Kurt. Anyway, but that's the thing as well, because the thing that I like about not having to travel is not having to spend thousands and thousands of dollars and thousands of hours shopping so that you can get these outfits and always be fresh when you go on stage. This to me is bold, face to face to face to face. And here's the thing. Celebrity is dying. Celebrity is dying, and authenticity is happening. And when you're a show host, what you're doing is bringing experts in. People are tired of celebrity and they want experts that are willing to help them make that difference in the world, make that point. And I thought that was so important for you to say. So let me ask you, I just want to go down the rabbit hole a little bit here. One of the things that I know we have to go down the rabbit hole because we're live and we can, and these are our peeps here. But so for the future, let's say, I don't want to tell you what I think. I want to find out for the future. Do you think that the live event is going to go back into that big spot that it was before the pandemic? Or are we going to have more virtual summits and virtual events and things like that? What do you think? I know that the online education thing is going to boom. It just is booming, and it's going to continue for decades.
Multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yes, but for those people who are still like, I'm going to go out and be a speaker. I have a thought that being a speaker is great, but being a show host is stronger now than being a speaker. And I want to know your thoughts on it and why you have those thoughts.
Well, I think, in a lot of cases, history gives us a lot of clues, right? So if you think about those people who are speaking on stage, like if you can think of, some people that do that, maybe it's a Tony Robbins or, some of those guys. But then you also think about the show hosts that are on television. Like, who is it that you remember? Who is it that has got a huge following? Who is it that you kind of like people are showing up? So speaking from stage or from that sort of forum, it's usually like a one-time event. So someone's going to come and watch you maybe once a year, twice a year, depending on how many of those live events that you have. But if you do a show, you're providing an opportunity for a host, for that matter. You're raising your level of authority because you're the host, but also you are showing up week after week after week after week and reinforcing your I suppose your brand of you each and every week. So your question was, do I think in the future that there will be maybe a place for live events? I'm going to say the answer to that, I think, is yes. Will it be quite this? I think there's a window of opportunity right now for us to be able to embrace this, because we just don't have the ability to be able to do or opportunity to do live events. So I think you've got a window of opportunity to do this at the moment, at which will continue, by the way. You're seeing sort of virtual events, big scale virtual events come to the forefront, which are trying to replicate the experience that you would get if you were going to a live event. And that leads me to the next part. Why do I think live events will always be around? I think because as humans, we crave the want and the proximity to people and the energy. There is something to be said about going to a live event, right? I've been to them, you've been to them. There's something about the energy in the room when you are surrounded by 5,000 other people. That's why people still go to concerts as opposed to just buying the record or listening to listening to the radio. So it's to do with the experience. So I think what is the future? I think what we're going to start to see is that you'll see, I think we're going to see Silicon Valley start thinking about that, about how do you start to create the experience for somebody that could replicate and give them the same level of almost, what you call it, like chemical things that happen to you when you're in a live space. How can we create that for somebody?
Kind of some virtual reality.
Yeah, correct. I think that's what we're going to start to see.
Like
and maybe,
virtual audiences. Ooh, wouldn't that be something?
You got it. So maybe the whole concept of like, virtual reality, the ocular kind of glasses where you're putting them on, where you're actually being transported into a room where you've got, the energy and all of that being recreated in the virtual space. So anyway, if someone's not already creating that,
that's cool.
Because that's what I think.
That's going to be big. I mean, right now you take a look. What are all the celebrities doing? They're going online with live shows. I mean, Red Table Talk with the Jada Pinkett Smith or the Smiths family. And also the Stefans have a Red Table Talk with them. Also, you can watch like the Kelly Clarkson show goes live, and Oprah's got Super Soul Sunday. People are Will Smith right now going into YouTube. I mean, there are so many people that are celebrities that have moved from Hollywood into these new forms and to these new venues. And why? You have to ask yourself the question, why? And where they say follow where the money goes. Right now, it's follow where the attention goes. What are people paying attention to? And that's that future thing that's going to be there. So 3 things to tell people right now who are thinking, I would like to have a live show myself, but I don't know how to do it. I'm afraid of it, or I'm too scared of the camera, or the technology is scaring me. 3 things that you would tell them right now as they start looking at the possibility of making their first 100 shows.
Well, the first thing I got to say is you got to join our program. It's would be the first thing, because if you are somebody who's like that, if you've got a concept or you've got a product and a service and you just want to get it out there and you want to start a show like this, the quickest and easiest way to do it is to actually follow somebody else's lead, follow the pathway that they've already created. So I would say head on over to Influence and Authority Method. Go check out the masterclass that's on there right now. And if you want to do that, they can book an appointment and have a chat with me or with one of the team, and we can see whether or not that's the right sort of platform for them to move down. The second would be, I would say, just make a commitment to yourself. But not just to yourself, to the audience or to the people that you want to serve. So once you do that, it's like signing a contract. It's almost like you need to create a contract with yourself and with your audience that you are going to show up. So the one thing that you need to do, and I'm just going to make an assumption here, that if you want to start a show, you know a thing or two, you've got some expertise and some skills that you could share, or you can at least interview people who have the skills and expertise, right? So I would say make a contract with yourself. You just need to be consistent. Make a time, show up every single week without fail. What will this do? Because once you get that consistency, it will form a new habit for you. It creates a new habit. And once you learn how to create this habit, you can create that new habit in any area of your business, your family, or your life. Why? Because you know how to do it. You start with yourself and with whatever it is that you are trying to achieve, and you just do it. You make it, you put in your diary, and it happens without fail. One of the things that really does help you to do this is that you proclaim it. You tell everybody, this is what I'm going to do, because if that's what you're going to do and you tell everyone you're going to do it, you kind of can't go back on your word. So be truthful, be authentic. And I've always said, don't tell them all the secrets. But you want to make sure that you're absolutely, you're doing that, and it's happening each and every week. The third thing I would say, surround yourself with really good people. right? So when you first start out, you might be a little bit shaky. Go back and watch my first show or Vickie's first show, and you'll go, oh my freaking God. Because you're nervous. That's totally
Yes.
normal. I would say just get started. Get your first, you're gonna find that you'll have like these call them like almost like milestones, right? So you'll get to, I'll say episode number 6 is sort of the first milestone where you feel like, oh, I'm kind of feeling like I've got a bit of control here. I know what I'm doing. I've got the technology sorted out. Once you kind of get past that piece, you're going to then go like this. It'll go, oh, I'm feeling like I'm on a high. And then you're going to take a huge dive, because then you're going to feel like, oh, crap, I'm missing something. Like what's happened here? Why do I feel like I'm kind of not in control here? And that's because you've now shifted from kind of being very, trying to be really conscious of what am I doing? How am I doing it? Now you're moving to that unconscious competence. You just know what you're doing. It just is happening by, because you're unconsciously able to do it.
Yes.
You've increased your level of mastery. But when that happens, you feel like, oh crap, I've dropped the ball. Something's missing. Totally normal. Then you'll get to episode number 12. It'll happen again. And then it kind of becomes like, I'm down with this.
Second nature.
Yeah. And you'll be able
easy.
to, once you learn a system, right, Vic?
Yeah.
It's like you can do a show in 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. If I see any of our students on our Inside of Our Influence and Authority Method program, hey, I want you to be on a show with me today, and it's going to be in 5 minutes time. When they first joined us, they would have freaked out and said,
oh yeah,
oh my God, no way, I can't do that. Now they'd go, okay, let's go. And
yep.
off we would go.
Off they would go. They'd leap right on it. I'm going to have to do that because it's fun. I think one of the most interesting things that has been said here is about the simplicity of it. It's like we make things more complicated in our minds than it actually is in real life. And once you get to that point where you're at show number 10, 11, 12, you're starting to feel, and some people, they morph into it and they're like, wow, this is actually really fun. I love doing this. And they love that knowing, that, I love that turning point, and they love that mindset shift. It's very, very empowering. Here's what I want to let everybody, and thank you, MJ, I see that. Here's what I want to let everyone know. It's a joy working with you, Tracy. It's a joy. And you are always willing to help, always willing to step into that leadership. And I built several companies, but this one that I have with you is in my heart very deeply. And the reason it is because I get to work with you. I get to build shows with you. I get to help other people build their shows with you. And the kind of authenticity and integrity that you have is hard to find on the planet. It's really hard to dig in. And I know how many times you go up to the bat for not just our students, not just the people who come into the programs here and keep going. It's how you do that no matter what. You do it for your family. You do it for your friends. You do it for your business partners. It's just kind of part of who you are. I love what we've created. We have other books coming out in the future. Right now, this one right here, this one, that's right, this one right here, and this blue one here, the Freedom Seeker's Way, is something that is absolutely, yeah, it's behind you, but it's right here as well. Make a great partner. Here's to the next 100 shows. Yes, that is. This is about changing the world one show at a time, because that's your philosophy for our company. When we're in meetings, when we're doing stuff, we're changing one mindset at a time, one person's life at a time, one show at a time. When you help experts get out there, it exponentially helps other people help other people. One of our partners now, she always has this saying, we help good people help good people. We help good people to help good people. And 100 shows later, you've helped 100 shows of good people help good people. And I want to say congratulations to your 100th show as we continue moving forward. I'm waiting and looking forward to adding a 0 on that back end where it's 1,000 shows, 500, then 1,000 shows later as we continue this journey. But the forward momentum of live shows, you're being modest. You are a genius and you make it happen. Thank you very much. I would put that up, but I don't have access to putting that up. But there she is. You are being modest. You're a genius and you make it happen. That's true. And that's the point. That's the point. And when we get to the point where you can work with people who are fun to work with, it makes the whole project, it makes your whole company come alive. Whole thing.
Absolutely.
We're
lucky.
Yes, we are. In the last part of this show, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. And I'm going to ask you, what are 3 goals that you have for this company and this project moving forward? What are 3 goals that you have right now?
Well, firstly, in my mind, always is like the students that we bring through any of the programs that we do. And we have a program called the Freedom Seekers Way that is, I'm so proud of that program, because we actually take people through an entire process of building their whole business out. So their show structure, their online program, and then even teaching them how to write their own book. And a lot of our students are starting to go through all of that process now. And they come out at the end of 12 months with all of that completed, their entire show.
And a monetization system all put inside it.
And their book. And if I think back to, over the last decade of being in this space, this is like a culmination of all of our experiences, all of our knowledge, all of our skills, all brought together in one beautiful place. So what do I envisage, or what do I see, this company being in some time? We are aiming, our mission is, well, my mission, I'm just going to talk about what I want from this for the moment, is that we become the place to go for women entrepreneurs who want to build a world-class business. And they want to do it alongside other world-class women who build up, who are there by their side, and build a sisterhood of women who are there supporting one another. So this year, my goal is to help a minimum of 100 people through that program. It all starts with influence and authority, and building out, your platform to do that. And that's what you're seeing here today. That is why, I mentioned why I created Unlocked, but the outcome of that. So I talked about why I wanted to do it from an emotional point of view, and my desires and my dreams and what Unlock meant to me. But I want to also share with you guys what results have I seen because of this. And it's not all just business related, actually. If you go back and you watch my show, I'm going to encourage you guys to do this, and even maybe you'll even find some videos of me online somewhere. And this is a really good thing to do, because often what we do in the moment is we start to comparing ourselves when we're wanting to start our own show. We compare ourselves to the person they are now. So you'll be looking today and you'll be going, oh, I don't know if I can do a show like that, or I don't know if I can do it like Vickie or like Tracy or like the other people that I'm seeing online doing it. Don't compare yourself with that, because you're comparing your 1 to their 100. And it's not, and you're not creating an even.
It's not fair. That's right.
Fair. And so we as entrepreneurs, we start then getting ourselves into that. Just takes us down the pathway of doubt. What you want to do is you want to go back and look at my very first show. Look at how I spoke. Look at maybe how structured I was. All of those sorts of things, and you'll see that over time, I have evolved. So, from a business perspective, what has this done? It has definitely increased my influence, my authority. It's increased the amount of exposure that I have. It's increased, people talking to me. It's increased the
credibility. Just your credibility.
What people think of me, how watching all of those sorts of things. So that's the business side. And it's obviously had an impact on our bottom line too. So return on investment, hugely, it's definitely a good way to go. As a result of this show, I was actually running some numbers this morning, and it's probably added 6 figures to what to our business bottom line off the back of doing this type of platform. So it's definitely worthwhile. The second thing I think that actually is more important than all of that stuff I've just talked about is the personal transformation.
Yes.
So personally, after, like I mentioned earlier, 6 and 12 shows, you are going to look back and you will see yourself. So if I go back and I look at my first show, I look at the person I was then to the person I am now, huge difference. And the things that I'm seeing the huge amount of difference in is confidence, my ability to be able to put shows together really quickly, your ability to be able to think on your feet and on the spot. So you will find that that you have as much personal growth and development and transformation doing this than you will with any other type of social media that you can do. Because here's what most people do: go and hire a agency to do this work for you.
Yeah.
Look back in 12 months' time and tell me what transformation you have had personally by hiring an agency to make pretty pictures and pretty borders for you. If you stop using that agency, how much growth will you have had personally? The answer will probably be very little, next to none. I guarantee you, if you step up and you do something like this, you look back in 12 months' time, you will have learned skills, knowledge, experience, be able to apply all sorts of things to all kinds of different areas of your business, and you will have massive transformation. And if you can tell me that give me something else that's going to give you that amount of transformation, that's actually not costing you a heck of a lot of money, tell me what it is, because I would like to know. Put it in the comment section below for me. But I guarantee you, if you were going to spend thousands of dollars on hiring an agency or backing yourself and spending say, very little money on doing this, which is going to be the winner long term, this will win every
time. And twice on Sunday. Yep.
Ooh,
brilliant. Thank you for being willing to jump into this venture with me. She was a guest on the Coffee Break Show. And after the Coffee Break Show, I was like, let's write a book together. And out of that, let's write a book together, this entire company has been built. Just absolutely stellar product, stellar service. Listen, Robin, one more time, would you do me a favor and put the link into, wasn't there a webinar link or some sort of something? Just pop that in there.
I mean, I just want to acknowledge though, Vic, today, because I know, I rattled off like 5 people that have been guests on my show. I want to acknowledge every single one of them. Like everybody who has come has like brought something different, a different concept, a different angle, a different idea. And without them, this show, would be a one-man band, me lonesome. So I want to thank every single one of them. I also want to give some shout outs to a few of our members, actually, because these guys that have been going through our programs that have trusted us to help them along their journey. I want to acknowledge them. So bear with me for a moment as I just rattle off a few of these guys right now. So the one is actually watching today. So MJ Caesar. MJ has just recently launched her show, Merging Money and Life, and I think she is doing, every single one of these guys is doing a stellar job. But the one thing that I have been so blessed to have, that has been the biggest benefit to me out of all of this, is the people that I get to speak with, the connections that I get to make, and the growth that I get to watch our students take on a daily basis. Like, I actually get to sit in the bleachers and watch them transform themselves, and that makes me want to cry every time I see them go live. I see them doing, taking our teachings and actually implementing them into their shows. So MJ Caesar with Merging Life and Money. Few Chand, who has started
I love her.
Oh, she is just amazing.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful, beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
And if she was, I'm going to be honest here, she was shitting herself, like, I want to do this, I want to do it, I want to do it. But she was like really, really not confident about doing a show. And my goodness, watching that woman do her show now, wow, it really does bring tears to your eyes watching the transformation that she's had. So her show is called Integrative Conversations with Few Chand.
And it's good. It's really good. I love
really
it.
Good. Angela Scott is another one.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Angela, dynamic. Not only has she created one show, but she's created 2 freaking shows.
And so powerful.
Yep, amazing job. Business Talk, TORQUE. Go check Angela out.
Builders Talk. Builders Talk.
Builders Talk. What did I say?
Business Talk.
Builders Talk. A building business owner. You want to watch Angela's show. And the other one is About to Build. Is another show that Angela runs.
Love that one.
Mm-hmm. Amber.
Yeah.
Amber's show is called, gosh, now I'm going to stretch my
Conscious Business Talks. I love that show. And Amber, I love you too. I mean, the show is outstanding.
It is. I knew it was conscious, and I was just trying to find the other words that she used. So Conscious Business Talk is Amber Mercer's show. Again, amazing. And then last but not least, I want to mention here is Larissa. Larissa Vaccarina.
I love her show.
Yep. So Larissa's show, The
Heart of Success. Oh my God. So good. Yeah.
All of them are brilliant. So I wanted to make sure that I gave each and every one of them a shout out. It is an absolute, and I'm giving you these ones because these are all the ones that are in they're almost up to about their 10th show. And they're all doing a stellar job. So I wanted to make sure that they were all acknowledged, and just to tell them how much I appreciate them being in our community. So anyway, 100 shows. Can you believe it?
I know. I'm so excited. I'm so proud. And I can't wait for the next 100. They're going to be equally as amazing, sharing amazing people with amazing information, providing value for the world in a time where we need it the most. Yeah.
Absolutely. I know this has been a long show today, and well, why? Because it's 100th, and I just wanted to make sure that that I acknowledged a lot of people that have been here and helping me. I have not mentioned yet Robin Helm. My God, without Robin, she is the freaking Robin of our company, and she does a heck of a lot behind the scenes to bring all of this stuff to life. So I want to thank her very, very much. We also have Cassie Brown and also Carrie Omar, Thomas Omar, who I also want to thank very much for being here. So anyway, guys, I want to just say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support.
Yes, thank you.
Of 100 freaking shows.
So proud
that I would have been able to do it every single week, and I'm not going anywhere. I will be doing them every single week for ever. Until something changes, which is unlikely to happen anytime soon. So if you want to continue to watch the Unlock show, they air at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday and a Friday Brisbane time. Will continue to share with you guys tips, tools, resources, bring to you amazing guests. In this season of the Unlock show, we're talking a lot about how to go live, how to find your voice, how to create a message, how to connect that with your offer. So that's what we're doing in this season of the show. Next season we might talk about something a little bit different. But anyhow, I wanted to say a huge, huge big thank you to everybody who's here, who has supported me every step of the way. And I certainly could not do this without my amazing husband that I have, because he does whatever I can't speak, I'm very, very, very lucky because he just supports me in whatever it is, crazy ideas that I have that I want to do. And also my kids, they're always here to support me and share everything that I do too. So thank you to my friends and family. I appreciate you guys a lot.
Well, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us. And to all your people, all those wonderful comments, congratulations. And to the next 100 shows, my friend.
Yeah, here's to the next 100. So I should have a glass of wine or something here, shouldn't I, to say cheers, but I got water instead.
Cheers. So do I. Sparkling water.
All right, guys. Well, thanks very much for joining today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. We've kind of uncovered a number of things, learnings that I've had over the last 100 shows. And, I want to see you guys out there too, doing your thing by creating your own show. So go and live your life unlocked because, as you know, there is just no other way. Thanks. And I'll see you guys again on Friday. Bye for now.